We have a very special time going on right now, and I'm just so in love. Like, it is such a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful time, and it's a beautiful, beautiful opportunity because not only are we just tiptoeing effortlessly into the spring equinox, but we are also in the smack dab middle of our eclipse season. We're also in a retrograde period, okay? We have this kind of situation going on where it's a lot of clarity, eye openers, aha moments that are happening for us, but also it's a chance to do this one thing that I've been writing about in my post. If you're reading the captions, if you're reading my long form article content, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. I've been talking about perspective shifts. Now, whether this is happening to you because of the Mercury retrograde or whether it's happening because of the eclipse season, here's some tips that I want to drop off for you to help you get the most out of this time period, which is pretty much over the next month, the month of March, okay? The very first thing that you're gonna have to do to get the most out of the eclipse season and the retrograde that's happening right now in sidereal Aquarius, you're going to have to be humble, okay? Your ego is going to block you from some of the best experiences, some of the best people, some of the best opportunities. Some of us, we got to have a little ego check. So if this retrograde is hard for you, if this eclipse season is hard for you, it's because your ego is in the way, babe. That's it. We have an eclipse happening. This eclipse season started really early. Like last year, it kind of started in the middle of spring, kind of, sort of, and then this year is starting like literally, it started in February, and so it's gonna technically end in April, but the last eclipse is March 3rd, which is in Leo. I gave a glimpse into what that eclipse is about in my Leo message, where I said, Leo, what are you realizing during this eclipse season, during this first eclipse? And I said that Leo was realizing what their passion really, truly, where their passion truly lies. But that's a message that we all need to hear, okay? Sometimes our passions is not what's on the internet, what's trending, what people tell us to do, what we were raised to do, the career we've been in for 20 years. Sometimes none of these things that are projected onto us or that are required of us from capitalism or society or whatever roles, that's not our passion. Sometimes our passions are the things that nobody cares about, nobody even knows that you can do because you haven't put it out there yet. Sometimes our passions are things that we hide from other people. And then sometimes our passions are things that we just don't really take seriously. Sometimes our passion is our play. Here's the thing though, here's what God wants us to really understand. When we lean into our play, we're leaning into our abundance. We're leaning into raising our vibration. We're leaning into alignment, okay? We're leaning into alignment. And so what the end of this eclipse season is really going to call for you is to really practice being in your joy, to really honor the vibration that's the highest for you, and to not let anything or anyone pull you out of that. Because there's a lot of miserable people in this world who they don't know what their passions are. They're scared to go after their dreams. They're insecure. They're traumatized. They don't want to get help. And then they're going to see you, who is trying to go after their dreams, trying to invest in themselves, trying to heal, trying to stay on track with their journey, and they're always going to try to distract you. They're always going to try to pull you this way and that way, and it's your job to really rise and stay above all of it. Okay? So I don't know, where these distractions may be coming up for you, but just know that you don't have to change your focus, and you don't have to unalign yourself with your joy, with your highest frequency, because of all these other things going on around you. Okay? Stay focused. Stay focused. That is the eclipse message for this eclipse happening on March 3rd. That's also what you should be doing in the month of March. Stay focused on the highest vibration, which is your joy, which is your play, which is your pleasure, which is your passions. Okay? And I've been channeling this message since 2026 got started, but also long before that. I can look back and find messages from years ago where I said, let your passion lead you. Okay? So Spirit is consistent, guys. Spirit knows that the highest vibration right now is not what capitalism tells us. It's not what the patriarchy tells us. It's not what society is telling you. Okay? The highest vibration is in your heart. Okay? So whatever is in your heart that you love doing, you need to find a way consistently to align with that. Now, let's talk a little bit about this Mercury retrograde that's coming up. But first, I'm going to get into a little bit of my gardening because, I'm just repotting some of, I got to take these gloves off because it makes me not be able to open stuff. So I'm repotting one of my hibiscus bushes, this fern, and then I'm repotting a corn plant, but I might not do them all at once, because that's too much work in one day. I got a lot of stuff to do. I gotta poke the holes out of the bottom of this. It feels so good outside. I'm a DIY type of girly, so I know it looks cute, but we could get some done too. Don't sleep. Okay, so I have a lot of soil to mix. This, I'm making like a tropical plant mix from scratch. And so the people at the gardening store, they told me, like, you have to mix different stuff together so that the plant can breathe properly. The roots can breathe. That's pretty much what I'm trying to achieve with this soil mix that I'm putting together. I'm going to do this for a couple minutes, and then I'm going to hop into some tea about the Mercury retrograde. Because the truth is that, like, it's really not that complicated. And that is the message that I was trying to channel on my last video that I posted. It was like lightning just hit me that night. And Spirit was just like, please get this message out. Like, before you log on, get this message out. Because some of us in the collective, like, we use spirituality as the next box, like, we make spirituality a cage instead of a tool to keep us aligned with the things that we love, the things that we need, the things that's going to allow us to manifest our dream life, instead of using spirituality as a tool, because that's what it's meant for. We use it as a cage. The goal this year is to not overcomplicate spirituality. No matter what your religion is, what practices you include, no matter what it is, don't make spirituality your cage this year. Live your life, have fun, do things that you love, and then include God in every moment that you possibly can. And I promise you, you'll begin to ritualize your life, and you will feel so much more free when you don't make everything so complicated. You know, like, okay, it's eclipse season. What should I be doing? Let me figure out what to do during the eclipse. Like, I just told you what to do. Have fun. Align with your joy. That's it. That's the assignment. Now, are you going to do it, or are you going to watch 10 more videos about the eclipse and the retrogrades and 10 more readings of the year? Are you going to book 10 more readings? Are you going to book 10 more workshops, or are you going to live your life and actually perform the assignment so that you can get to the next download and the next piece of the assignment before the people on YouTube tell you what to do next? Before I come back on YouTube and tell you what Spirit is telling me in my own life to share with you guys. Because, you know, I want to come back online sometime in the summer or the middle of the year. But to be honest, you know, it's going to depend on how I'm feeling and what I'm doing. Because I've truly given you guys enough information to where you should be able to feel like you know what 2026 is about, you know the assignment, and you're ready to do the work. And again, the work is in your heart. It's not in your head this year. So again, are you going to get out of your head and into your heart, or are you going to keep overcomplicating the journey, the assignment, the message? This plant really needed to be repotted, y'all. Like, the roots were definitely overgrowing the soil, which is good. That means it's growing, but like, what I'm doing now is just loosening up the dirt around the roots so that when I install it into the new pot, it's not so tethered. Y'all remember that card and like that popped up in 2 readings? But the roots are not so tethered to the old dirt, and it can expand. Ooh, not the plants giving a message. My hibiscus said, free up the old dirt from your roots so that you can expand into new spaces. The plants have a message about baggage, baby. They said, yeah, you gotta let that baggage go this spring. I don't know. I don't want to go too hard because, like, I don't want to mess the roots up trying to, you know. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in here. This is the old soil. So this is the new soil, and it has compost mixed in. So it's probably not going to smell that great. Yay! I repotted my hibiscus. I'm so excited. So let's go ahead and get into more of what this Mercury retrograde is going to be trying to teach you and show you over the next month, and how you can really extract the gifts out of the Mercury retrograde happening mostly through sidereal Aquarius until it gets towards the end where it's about to go direct, and then it will be in Pisces. Okay, so here's the thing. It starts with humility. You're going to have to be humble. You're going to have to step out of your ego. You're going to have to be considerate. You're going to have to be open-minded. This Mercury retrograde is the perfect time to shift your focus, disengage with things that disservice you, honor even more of your authenticity than you ever have, raise your vibration, and practice more clear communication. there will be some car accidents. I've seen a lot of car accidents happen leading up to this Mercury retrograde and during the Mercury retrograde. The Mercury retrograde is going to go until March 20th, so we still got a while to go, guys. However, you know, if you find yourself getting in a fender bender, getting in a car accident, if you know somebody that's getting in a car accident, it's because spiritually their focus is off. Okay, it's not just about literally. That car wreck is a manifestation of their focus being misaligned, them worrying and focusing on the wrong thing. Okay, so be careful with, of course, be careful driving, be careful in transit, but also understand the higher perspective of why these things are happening. There may be arguments, there may be misunderstandings. This is a time where the need for clarity is going to be heightened because what's stated is not always what's implied. What's said is not always what is received or heard, okay? Because sometimes what's not said is louder than the words that come out of your mouth or whoever other person that you're dealing with. There's things that we can see and there's things that we cannot see, right? So we need to make sure that we're being clear because not everything is automatically understood if somebody does not have the same vision or perspective as you. And this is a great time to reevaluate what resonates and what doesn't. What things are you hearing? Maybe it's in the media, maybe it's certain conversations that are happening around you, maybe it's the content that you're watching. What doesn't resonate with you anymore and what may you need to unsubscribe from? Okay, like this is a great time as we tiptoe into the spring equinox to just really reevaluate yourself and where you authentically stand in your journey right now. And make sure that you're putting that version of you at the forefront instead of hiding it, people pleasing, conforming, or not speaking up for yourself, okay? This is a beautiful, beautiful time where you get to be loud about your discomfort, you get to be loud about your perspective, but balance that out with openness, silence, and being willing to receive the perspective that another person has of you or of a situation so that you can see the full and the bigger picture. And so that you can also be open to what God is trying to communicate, because sometimes the Mercury retrograde is not about what we have to say to each other. It may be about what God is trying to say to us in a certain moment. So this is a beautiful time to have important conversations, to have discussions that maybe they're coming full circle and okay, we're talking about something again that maybe this person I haven't talked to in a couple months, but now I'm having that conversation with them again. Don't ignore the call, don't ignore the text. If something pops up during this Mercury retrograde, I know everybody tells you ignore this person, ignore that person. Don't have a conversation again with this person or that person. But maybe this retrograde, maybe you should, and maybe what you should do when you have that conversation is be 100% honest and fully express yourself instead of running from the conversation, so that if the conversation really doesn't need to happen ever again, you can say what you got to say and it won't happen ever again. You guys enjoy the spring equinox. I'm so blessed to just be opening up the spring equinox in a beautiful, beautiful way. And I hope you guys are doing the same. Bye.